Hey guys, this is Adam Henderson. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time watching, you're in for a treat. I'm going to get into some heavy stuff before I analyze one of my games from a recent rated NASPA tournament with some strong players. And in fact, in this video, we will be featuring a game I played against Steven Alexander, and Steven was gracious enough to even give me all his racks after the game. So I'm not sure if that'll make the game more interesting or not. One of the reasons I actually sometimes prefer not having my opponent's racks is because I would probably be tempted to say, "Oh, what a terrible play my opponent made," and I really don't want to do that. I am autistic, and one of the things about autism is, and one of my best friends, childhood friends, I didn't actually get diagnosed until I was 36 years old, and I was in denial about it for quite a while because I'm high functioning. But one of my childhood friends said that I would often say some things that would be hurtful for him, and I would just have no idea that I was saying hurtful things. And that's just one of the things about autism. There's a difference between being being autistic and being an asshole. I mean, they're not mutually exclusive, but oftentimes, when autistic people may say some insensitive things, they're not necessarily trying to be hurtful. So it's an important thing to know about if you're have a friend that's autistic, or communicating with somebody that may have autism. Before I start this game, I'm going to get into a little bit of personal stuff, and I want to kind of editorialize about kind of the state of Scrabble and the state of the world. Um, so if you're not interested in this rant, I would just skip ahead. I may get into some personal stuff too, but I'm going to try not to do that because I don't want to share too much personal stuff. So here it goes. Give me a moment. I need to blow my nose. So I want to talk a little bit about the state of Scrabble, at least in the Pacific Northwest. I'm not sure how things are going in other places around the country. It may be a different story. Maybe Scrabble's thriving in New England, because New England seems to be like New York, and the New York area seems to be to Washington D.C. That seems to be like the hub for Scrabble right now. Those New England states. I'm jealous of those that they get a lot of Scrabble. They have probably the biggest tournaments, like the New York ones are the ones that are hosted by Josh Greenway. I mean, those are the cream of the crop tournaments. If you get to go to a Josh Greenway tournament, you're very lucky. But there are some really exciting tournaments that I've flown out to, particularly every year. New Orleans hosts a tournament. I might even go to the New Orleans one next year. But it's a good segue into my next topic, which is uh, Scrabble as a hobby is a really inexpensive hobby until you start getting into 1400, 1500, 1600, 1700, which is where I'm at right now. I'm rated 1700, 1704. I hope to not go below 1700, which may be a little bit difficult considering this next tournament, which you can see here. I'm not only the top seed, but by a lot. I'm hoping Dan Goodwin and Richard will be joining, so it won't be as scary to participate in this tournament. Of course, it would be really nice if, because uh, not Mark Peltier. Nigel Peltier often comes to these tournaments. I don't know if he'll come to this one. I'm not necessarily expecting it, but if Nigel comes, that would be great, at least for making things less scary for me rating wise. I don't like the idea of the pressure of having to win every single game just to maintain merit rating points. So let's see, what was I going to say? Um, it is expensive to fly out to these tournaments. And I mentioned in a video last week that I'm playing in Division Two in the NASPA Nationals this year, partially in the hopes that I can um, finish in the top, um, at least finish in the money, so I can bring some home money to offset. It's going to be probably a little bit over $2,000, and the reason it's so much for either a trip like this is because um, I'm bringing my husband. I'm recently preparing to get him the ID he needs because if you're flying around the country like I am for Scrabble, uh, there's now real ID requirements. I'm sure if you are flying, you're aware of those. Um, and so you need either enhanced driver's license and or a U.S. passport. I'm going to try and get my husband both of those in short order, and I think we're well on our way to getting those. So I'm happy where things are at that way. And if you're a Scrabble player and you're single, I do recommend getting married. It helps to have, especially if your husband is supportive of you and traveling the country. He's been very good to me in supporting me and supporting the Scrabble lifestyle, so to speak. Let's see. I was gonna show you guys. So this is who's playing. There's 28 people. A little bit on the low side, to be honest, for number of people signed up, and I think that's somewhat expected because I mean, this year it's not all Trump. The probably the real ID thing has been annoying for some people because you do have to. It's not going to be a normal driver's license that you need anymore to travel domestically. So for some people, that may be a pain to get that enhanced driver's license or get that passport. I know for the passport, it's going to cost. I had to write a check to my husband because he's literally broke for $200 for those fees. $200 is a lot of money nowadays. I mean, it, it it's frustrating. A lot of my friends are not doing so great financially, and I think there's just a lot of people that are hurting financially right now, and yes, it does a lot have to do with Trump because of these tariffs that he's imposing, and I understand the idea behind the tariffs. Trump and people who have voted for Trump want manufacturing jobs to come back to the U.S. and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing if we had more manufacturing. I mean, there's only so many people in the US that would do those jobs, so there does come a point where um, you got to think about how many manufacturing jobs would Americans be willing to take because there's a lot of support for bringing manufacturing jobs back to the US. There's like 75% support. Well, only 25% of people polled were actually interested in working those jobs, which was an interesting thing. Um, I know I'm going off topic. That's okay. This is meant to be a rant. But anyway, but due to those tariffs, and it's not just the United States. I mean, people. I have friends in Canada that are hurting right now as well. The tariffs are hurting the economy of Canada, but they're also hurting, of course, the economy of the U.S. It sounds like we're heading towards a recession if we're not already in one. And so, yeah, I'm not ignorant that a lot of what's going on in tournament Scrabble with people not being able to travel due to financial reasons. Um, Even for myself, $2,000 is for a vacation is a lot of money, but it's just our one big vacation for this year. And while I still can afford it, I'd like to take at least one big vacation a year and go to a Scrabble Nationals. And I actually flip between NASPA. I go to NASPA one year and I go to WIPO another year. And I guess the reason I do that is just because I like both organizations and I like them pretty much equally. I think both of them have um, strengths and weaknesses. I know there's people that are partisans that only go to NASPA and people that only go to WIPO, but it does at least seem in the Pacific Northwest and then West Coast that people prefer WIPO, but I'm just not there yet. To I don't know. Um, I suppose once WIPO, if it ever happens, if WIPO starts getting a significant majority of Scrabble players, especially in their national tournament, um, I might be more favorable to WIPO as an organization just because they're the one getting all the players coming to tournaments. I could see that happening. All right, I need another blow my nose break. Give me a second. I guess the last thing I'll say is just returning to the state of Scrabble and the Pacific Northwest is that uh, there was I think it was Evan Kramer. I sent him an email saying that or initially I sent him an email saying I would, because someone told me that he was thinking of he's a Canadian and he was thinking of hosting a tournament, and I sent him two emails, neither of which he responded to. The first one I said I'd be interested, and then the second one I was like, oh wait, because of all this nonsense that's happening with ICE and my husband having just gotten naturalized. I don't want to have any problems at the border coming in back into the United States. I don't want to be held up for hours by thug ICE agents. That's not for me. I don't want to have my social media, uh, my privacy violated. So like, it's just a lot of tournaments that might otherwise have happened because there's a lot of Canadians that play in tournaments in the state of Washington where I live, and then there's a lot of Washingtonians, including myself, that are interested in going to visit Canada just to play in tournaments in Canada. That's not happening right now because of how cruel ICE is, and I don't need to go into that because I'm sure you've all heard the stories on the news about the insanity. Like, I didn't think, at least as far as the ICE situation and how cruel Trump is with, and how illegal what he's doing is, I didn't expect that from his second administration, and I think a lot of the people that voted for him didn't expect it either. So anyway, that's politics. I tried not to talk too much about politics on this channel because it's a Scrabble channel. But I wanted, these are things are all connected, so I wanted to, I didn't want to just pretend the issues didn't exist. And if you want to say something in the comments with regard to politics, go right ahead, but I probably will not respond to anything political in the comments just because things can get heated, and just YouTube comments and section isn't a great place for that. Um, anyway, let's take a look at this game. Oh, let me show you Stephen Alexander. I like to do this for everyone. So he's rated 1830. It's a very nice high rating over 1800. Very strong player. And yeah, that's him. All right. So he goes first. Let's make him the first player. And he exchanges 5. I'm just going to pass, make things quicker. But that was an exchange 5. And I have this rack. So let's see if I missed any bingos. I just played guide here. Obviously, if there's a bingo, then that's a big miss. There's no bingos. Everything's 14 points. SH seems like a pretty good leave. So I'm just gonna show you guys how good SH is, because the SH does, the S and the H do have synergy. So that's gonna be an extra. So 11 points for that leave. So I played guide. So the equity of this play is the number of points you get for the play, which is 18, and then you add in the value of the leave, and then that's how you get equity. So in this case, I feel like guide is a good move because it's got good equity. It's got 29 points of equity, so it's, while the play only scored 18, that added 11 points from the SH leave. Seems to make it a good play. So yeah, if you disagree, someone disagreed on my last video about one of my comments. I pretty much stood by my thoughts, and then I tried to explain more. And so I mean, I'm not going to be pushed over if just because somebody disagrees with me. I'm going to probably take another look at it, and if I think no, my reasoning was good, or if I had more thoughts, I'll add to it. But just keep it civil. That's all I ask. I don't mind people disagreeing with me. It's like, anyway, all I ask is just like anybody else, is keep it civil. Don't attack me. We can argue over Scrabble strategy without being nasty. Nobody has been nasty to me about Scrabble strategy, but there's always potential. That's why I'm just saying it beforehand in case it happens. So he plays Pow. Oh, and I've got his rack here. Oh, actually, he had his first rack where he exchanged. He had AAAUUGS. So actually, I'm gonna add in the rest of his rack, and just for fun, we can see how his play stands up against a quick computer analysis. I don't do, probably for the sake of brevity, I don't do in depth. At some point, probably later on in my streaming career, maybe I'll go in depth using Macondo, but for now, try to keep it short. And Pow is the best play, it says, so he made the best play here. So ugly second rack for me. It's saying the top play is just juice here, which I guess I have two S's, so that, as strange as that looks, maybe it is. Here's a strange play I just didn't see of Scholm. Scholl is very kind of similar to that. It's just a strange four-letter word that you don't see played that often, so I don't really blame myself for not seeing that play. I guess the idea behind juice is just it. I mean, HLNS, that's too many consonants, and it's going to be a negative. No, it's not negative, even with 4 consonants. So that's a better leave than I thought it was. So maybe that is the best play. I just played slung here, so let me. Looks like that only plays off of guide, but just let me check the picture. No, I didn't play. Oh, it goes to the G. So this may not be a good play, but it's the play I made. It keeps JHS. Which the H and the J do have some synergy. It's a little bit less of a leave equity than I maybe thought it would be, but anyway, that's what I went with. I don't necessarily think this is a blunder or even a bad play considering my other options. I do think Scholl, SHUL, if I had seen that, I probably would have done that instead. But anyway, here he exchanges again because he has OOOAANS, and he exchanges 4. So I'm going to try to predict what he had. So I'm looking at his the rack after it. So it looks like he kept ANS, which that sounds right. Sounds like a good exchange to me. And then I have this rack. So I drew too many consonants again. So this can be kind of frustrating. Just things when things are going slowly and the board is somewhat closed. I hate closed boards. So let me think about this. So I do see that it's saying hip is the best play here for 29. That's actually what I played. So given it's saying that that's the best play and that is the play I made, I'm not going to argue with it. I think that play is fine. And then he gets his bingo down because he has the blank. And then he had shamanism, shamiana. Okay, hold on. What is shamiana? Okay, guys, let me just pause it. Okay, I'm gonna take a look here and see if I can find if I've ever seen this word, shamiana. I haven't. So is this good without the S? Wow, and it has the exclamation point. I thought it probably would because I've never seen this word in my life. What a word. The explanation point means that it was new, a relatively new word. In 2016, I mean, I'm calling 9 years ago relatively new. There was a dictionary update, and it had quite a few words that was added, and this was one of them. Shamiana, and it's a large tent in India. So I really like this word, so I'm gonna note this word down. Just write it down here real quick. It's a pretty cool word. Anyway, he did bingo, but he didn't play Shamiana. I think Shamiana would have probably, I don't know if I would have challenged it, but I would have definitely held the play. Uh, so there's shamanism and shamanist. That's interesting. So his play, you have to go. Where does he play? He plays stamina for 69. So you have to go quite far down the list to find his play. But honestly, it doesn't matter. Stamina's fine. I'm not gonna shame somebody that's clearly my superior for playing the wrong bingo. So yeah, stamina, that's fine. Fine play. And yeah, this is why I lost this game, was because I couldn't. When you draw really badly several times in a row to start a game, I mean, he drew badly too to start this game, which is why I had a chance. But you often just do not recover from this type of drawing. So I played Dank here. It looks like the saying that's the fourth best play, but a lot of times, like plays like this, that's just not going to be better than Dank, because you're just throwing an S in the triple link. That can't be good. Pink, that for the same reasons, just I can't see. You gotta play at least 3 tiles. You can't leave 5 consonants. And then Jinx. I definitely would have saw Jinx, but I don't know. It doesn't feel right. If that is the right play, it just doesn't feel right to me. That's one that I guess I'll leave for the AI to figure out. But I'm not gonna look too deeply into it here. I played Dank, which is I think fine enough play for this rack. And you don't see this too often. He exchanged 3 times. You don't see an expert exchange 3 times. Spoiler alert, he won this game. You don't see an expert exchange 3 times within the first 5 moves and then go on to win the game. So he had AAA EOU playing, and he absolutely should have exchanged here. This is an awful rack, but he did get the second blank. So he double blanked me. Usually that means your opponent's going to win, especially if he doesn't bingo with both blanks. That's one annoying thing, is when you get a blank and you get the second blank before you can bingo, because that really hampers your ability to really solidify an easy win. You want to bingo with both blanks separately. So he exchanges 5. I don't know what he exchanged here. Let's say he kept the blank and an A. Or no, let's say, yeah, let's say he kept a blank. I don't know what he exchanged. I'm going to say he kept the blank and an A. And even though I played off 3 tiles, I still could only manage to draw one vowel. So you can see my options are still awful. I think that's why Jinx was such the top play on that previous move, was because this is a closed board, and oftentimes I like to keep power tiles on my rack, but that strategy doesn't work well on closed boards, which I'm not really used to playing. So that was one thing that screwed me up in this game, I think. All right, so Jill's is it saying because I guess this rack leave is so good. It's 11.5, so that would be like a 23-point play. And then this rack is going to be negative JLRS. Almost negative. So yeah, this scores better than 11 point plus 13. So this has an equity of about 24, and this has an equity of 25. But despite that, you're giving back a lot on the first row, so that makes this a little bit worse than Jill. So how far do we have to go down? Oh, I actually did play Jill here. I was gonna say I didn't know what I played here. Yeah, I guess after consideration, I realized that the leave of ERSX was just too strong, and I did play Jill. So good on me for finding that. And he plays NAE. I don't know, like a lot of these polished Scrabble videos, I think they probably look up how to pronounce things beforehand, so they're pronouncing them correctly. I don't know how NAE is pronounced. Maybe Nay. But that's his play is Nay. So that just goes here. And that comes from a rack of AEEE NN blank. So that seems like a fine play on his part. It's saying he should have kept the A, which I probably would agree. A is one of my favorite letters. But anyway, more of a personal choice. So here did I play Rex? I just played EX for 32. I'm sure those were close. I think that's a fine play. I don't think Rex is going to be a whole lot better than EX in that position. He plays OE. Well, let's just, since he wrote down his Rex. So he did have a bingo. It looks like it's a tough one to see of exonerees. That's a 9-letter one. So yeah, it was a mistake, but 1,800 players make mistakes too. Okay, so this is, oh yeah, and here I did so I saw the play of arrives in this position, but I chickened out of it because I thought Oda did not take the S. It does take the S. So this was missing. This was really bad. But even if I had played this, what would he had? Let's just look into the future. Okay, so he wouldn't have had anything through the A. He would have just had to play Sneezer there, or he could have played Panzers for 6 less points. The Panzers actually might not be. It might actually be worth it because you're introducing way too much volatility with Sneezer. I think Panzer is probably a better play had I played Arrives. But in this position, I don't know what Steven would have played, whether he would have played Sneezer or Panzers, but let's just say he played Panzers because I think it's the better play. Well, I think that's the play he probably would have made. The score is about even. So yeah, it would have been more of an even game with a slight advantage because he's got a 5-point advantage, which is pretty much even. Yeah, so I really needed to find arrives here. And I saw it and I just chickened out, and it's really sad. Let's just finish the rest of this game. It's kind of a longer game. I'll try to quickly go through the rest of these. So I played VAR. And this is why you need to know your force. It's kind of embarrassing to show on stream that I still am not sure of my fours. Okay. Trying to figure out where VAR plays. Okay, so I played VAR here. Yeah, I think that was a risk reward ratio that I should have just gone for it since I was unsure whether Oda took the S or not. I I get in my own head sometimes. That's bad. Sneezer comes down here. And yeah. What is a frizer? A frizzer, okay. I feel like I've never seen this word. Because I haven't. That's probably a good one to know. Frizzer with one Z. I'll write that one down. All right. This is positions pretty much completely lost, or at least almost completely lost. And I'm sure that was how I was feeling after Sneezer, because I realized I had screwed up after Sneezer came down, because he's not gonna not know whether Oda takes the S or not. So I was confident that he was not making a mistake here when he played Sneezer and Oda's. Nay takes an S, which is kind of strange because I think that one might be new. No, that's not new. It's just most of these three-letter words that end in AE don't take the S. So I was just surprised that this one does. Yeah, I probably should be better at having my swords, my four-letter words solid, but there really is no good way of studying four-letter words. I mean, I guess you could do it on word walls, the aerolith. That might be the best way, but other than that, I hate doing aerolith. All right, so he plays Wazoo. So what did I do here? I played Cooler for 16. Like I think at this point I was just like throwing in the towel and hoping he doesn't have an S. What did he play here? He didn't have an S. He plays somewhere. I wrote down just The only in my picture that I made, I only see all. So maybe I just didn't write down the L. Yeah, that must have been it. Okay. Here I actually exchanged, which I guess is not right because look for all these plays I could have made. But I have the last S, so I guess this would be a good one to analyze with the bot. I exchanged the G and the Y, hoping for a big play, hooking cooler because I have a less S and there's no blanks out. So I mean, it was a good try, I guess. I'm not going to criticize this play because I think it's actually a clever try. Because if I can land a big bingo hooking cooler on the triple lane, that might get me back into the game, especially if I can do it right away after this exchange. Um, and he actually just lets me have it for another move. He doesn't let me have it after for two consecutive moves, but for this move, he does let me have it. He has anti-dot, and he just plays 2 for 11, which is a little bit strange because he opens up another lane with that. Because I'm clearly fishing. And this is so frustrating because I really needed a bingo and I just did not get it. So what did I do here? I played Finn, hoping that he'll just let me have it another shot at it, which of course he didn't. Oh wait, he doesn't play 2 there. Okay, hold on. Where does he play 2? Oh, he plays it here. Okay. Yeah, alright. And then I played Finn here, opening up another lane, which makes sense. And then I think he blocks. Yeah, he does. Which is a smart block. I'm sure I had a bingo at this point. And he knew I had a bingo after fishing so much. So I had... what I have here. I'm pretty sure I had a bingo. No, I didn't. I thought I had a bingo. Alright. So anyway, I just played Torai. Oops, not Togai. And he plays... I'm not going to even write down because he's already won the game. He plays Quash. I'm just going to get through the rest of these. Plays... yeah, I think the only real mistake I made was not going for arrives. I really should, even though I was unsure whether Oda took the S or not, I really should have just gone for it. Sometimes, a lot of times when you're playing a player like that you know is stronger than you, as was the case in this game, a lot of it just comes down to having confidence and not letting your stronger opponent intimidate you. And I think that was just this game is a classic game where I just needed more confidence in myself. So Yi comes down for 22. Begun for 16. He plays bet for 17 somewhere. It says he plays bet. Hold on. Okay. He didn't play bet. He just played BE for 17. They just played Brute, and he plays. Okay, so actually, let's. I must have had another letter. I just played Brute here because it doesn't matter, and then he goes out with Yet here, and that was the game. Let's see if the score matches. So I had 351 to his 397. The score does match, which doesn't surprise me because he's one of those players that never gets the score wrong. So a lot of players you have to worry about them misscoring something, and even really strong players, you still have to like check their scores because every once in a while they'll make a scoring mistake. But I think Steven is one of those people that just never makes scoring mistakes, and he'll always correct you if you make one. So that's actually kind of nice. All right, thanks for guys for watching my video. This is a longer one, 46 minutes. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Please like and subscribe. And put any comments that you have down below. All right, take care.